We're here in Brescia at the Lelit factory, and we're going to have a tour to see how these machines are made. We're going to meet some of the key people and the inspiration behind the machines and the direction that the company's going. So come on in and let's take a look. Hello, ciao.
Hi, Luke. How are you?
Yeah, Christina,
welcome.
is it?
Yes, it's Christina.
Yeah,
welcome to Lelit headquarters.
Well, thank you. And so what's your role here, Christina?
I'm head of sales since day one. So I've been head of sales for a long, long time. And I'm very happy to welcome you here and show you Lelit, what we are for and what's the mission, basically from now onwards.
And you're going to take us for a tour?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's get started.
For sure. I'll follow you.
So this is our relax room where we have lunch, play, how do you call it?
Foosball.
Yeah,
okay.
Italians love it. So.
Love it, yeah. Or table soccer?
Table soccer, yes.
Table soccer, yeah, cool. Oh, it's a Lelit branded one, nice.
Yes. So this is where all starts. We call this the kit area because every single machine has a tray with a drawing where all the components are marked. So the people here take the components from the shelves and put them on the tray. This helps us avoiding mistakes during production because the component may look the same, but it may have a different voltage. So if you just look at the drawing, you may pick up the wrong one, but aside from the drawing, you see the code, so you are sure to pick up the right component for the right model you are going to be produce. Okay. So all the components are put on the tray together with the appliance bodies, which are pre-assembled on this line. So the big part of the assembling happens here for the appliance body. Everything then gets put together and gets moved towards the end of the warehouse, where we have several vertical warehouses that are used both for storage, because the space is very constrained here and we had to increase it. But they are used also as a lift, since the production actually it's on the third floor.
Okay, and the appliance bodies that you're putting here together are coming from this factory, which you own?
Yes, we bought Anita before the Breville acquisition because we felt there was a need to start the process from the very beginning. So assembling was okay, but we wanted to own also the first part, which is the most important one. So like choosing the material, having really taking care of the materials, the way they've been bent and so on, and also owning the process of designing them from the very first moment.
Okay, so from start to finish, you have the whole product being made just in different factories.
Exactly, yeah. Anita is basically 2.5 hours away from here, and we have people from quality driving there once a week in order to make sure that things are done properly, the way they have to be. And and they are now part of the Breville Group, of the entire family.
Yeah, I'm Phil McKnight. I'm Breville Group's president of Global Specialty Coffee. We started talking to Lelit about a possible collaboration or acquisition, and then one thing led to another, and July the 1st of 2022 we acquired Lelit. So Lelit and Baratza sit underneath my umbrella.
So the guys come here, pull it until the end of the warehouse, and then they just pull the trays and put it in the vertical warehouses to go upstairs.
Okay, so you've gone the first group build the actual chassis, and then you have the boiler and some light
and all the components that need to be assembled upstairs.
And then it gets shipped upstairs. Great.
Yes. Here also happens the quality control of the wood parts, because obviously being wood a natural element, wood can look very different. It can have very different shades. So we make sure at this point that the knobs and the portafilter match together. They're not too dark or too white. And so the controlled components get put on the tray so that upstairs they don't need to worry about matching components that look alike.
Where does the wood come from? Where's it sourced?
It's sourced in Italy. Again, most of our suppliers are within a 30 to 1 hour drive away, because we want to be very local. And the closer they are to us, the better, because then we can communicate really quickly with our suppliers.
Oh, fantastic. Good to have the heart here in Italy. Oh, fantastic.
So this was, back in the past, our warehouse. But in 2020, we had an explosion in orders. So we had to move the warehouse outside. So that's why now we have an external logistic company that handles the warehouse and the shipping. So twice a day, we have a truck coming in, first 8 o'clock in the morning. He comes in with the components that we need for the production and takes away the products that have been produced the day before. The same thing happens in the afternoon. So twice a day we have this back and forth of components and finished goods. So we get the components, then the finished goods come down from upstairs through this railway. They get put on the pallet here, and then the truck takes them outside to be shipped all over the world.
Wow, fantastic. Sounds very organized.
It is, we had to because we are a small company and we had to optimize every single process to be effective. So that was the goal from basically day one, growing from 5 people to 200.
Wow.
So that's, it has been really great.
Fantastic. So where to from here? That we start on the bottom level?
We can go and see the vertical warehouse.
Yes, yep.
Yeah, there's no tray there, but so basically the trays get attached here and through this vertical warehouse they go upstairs. So in the company, as you can see, we have many vertical warehouses. There are about 8 all over the places, and they work both as lifts but also as warehouses, because each of them can contain lots and lots of machines, finished goods, but also obviously components. Yeah. Once they are upstairs, they get assembled and then they come down to the warehouse through that ray. So each box comes slowly down and gets to the end of it where it has to be put on a pallet. So now we can go upstairs and see how production works.
Lelit make products that are consumer focused with the actual end user in mind. Someone who, doesn't matter whether they're starting their coffee journey or whether they're a very experienced user, they make machines for all those consumer profiles. And they focus on what's valuable to consumers, and that's the in-cup result.
How many days worth of stock do you have here?
Here we just have components.
Components, okay.
I think it's like 2-3 days, because as I told you, each day we have this back and forth from the main warehouse, which you will see afterwards.
Okay. This is the Anna, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
The Anna with PID. 4110.
I don't know the model numbers.
Ciao.
So these are the Lelit Annas, with the PID controllers as well.
So as I told you, the machines arrive here from downstairs. They are all on trays. The trays then gets pulled and attached to the respective line. So line 3 is the line for Anna and Anita, the small espresso machines that we produced. Mm-hmm. So the line begins here. One thing that maybe you notice is that on the production line we just have women. That's a choice, because during the year we found out that women pay more attention to details, and that's what we needed on the production line.
Fantastic.
And that's also why we had to transform the production line to make sure that women didn't have too much of a burden producing or assembling the machines. So all the machines are on trays, they move on the railway, they never ever pick up or have to lift any, any heavy machine at all. Okay. Nor the Anna or the Bianca, so they never lift it, so they don't have back problems after the shift.
And I can see here we've got for low height and then high height, so that they're not having to bend over, just natural height positions.
No, we always pay attention to the well-being of the employees, especially of the blue collars, because that's what they are most important to us, because I can sell if the product is good and well assembled. Otherwise, then I have an issue. So each station has also a display where the people can double check the operation they are doing if they have a doubt or they don't remember. And each person has 3 or 4 operations that they manage, they do well. Just few people on the production line can do the functionality control. So at the end of each line, we do the test of each single machine with water and coffee. And that's done just by certain line managers. Not all of them have access to this procedure because we want to make sure that everything is checked before the machine gets packed.
Okay.
So as you see here, we check if the machine heats up, if it produces steam, and in case it has a built-in grinder, if the grinder is grinding. So both of it. That's why also sometimes in the machines with built-in grinders, you find some coffee rests. Even if we vacuum them, during transport they may move and they may come out of the machine. So they're not used, they're just tested.
Good quality control.
Exactly. This is where the machine cool down. So obviously once they turn up, they heat up and they are hot. Before being packed, they need to cool down. So at the end of the line, there is a temperature sensor that detects the temperature of the machine. And when it's cooled, it can move on to the next step.
Wow. So automatically it comes through. Wow.
It comes through. That's the sensor. When the machine reaches the agreed temperature, it can move further.
So do you make all the boilers in the other factory, or?
No, the boilers, we buy them from Italian suppliers, but they are made according to our specifications.
Okay.
Yes. The R&D department obviously gives the specifications, and then we don't produce them.
Okay.
Here there is the final control, the security control, like the earth and the electrical standards, to make sure that the machine actually is good to go.
And does each production line have the different power for different countries doing those? So you might do one 10
sure.
volt, then
Before
240.
going into production, obviously we know which product we are producing for which country, and then everything gets adapted. So if it's for the US, 120, for Japan, 100, or if it's for Europe, for sure.
Yeah, great. So what's this model here? Line number 8?
This is line number 8. This is Elizabeth. It's our dual boiler.
Okay.
So the girls are trying to assemble the product from beginning to the end, following the same process we saw on Anna. So the process is the same. Every station does a little operation, and then it carries on till the end, where you have the functional testing, the cooling down area, and then on the back the electronic safety control, and then the packaging. So it's basically the same.
So the machines on these little timber rests allow them to turn around without having to pick them up. That's very nice.
Yes, the main principle.
Yeah.
Yes, we actually renovated the production line, I think, in 2017 together with Toyota. We started the way to make the production more effective and also easier for the workers. That was a big project, but we are happy with the results.
Yeah, it seems pretty seamless and very organised. So
It is, yeah. Let's see if we have the Bianca on the line. No, we don't. Yes, we do. No, it's also Elizabeth. No, it's Kate, actually. We don't have the Bianca today on the line. It's a pity.
I'm Mauro Epis. I work in the R&D department here in Lelit. The first success was Bianca, we can say. In the beginning, we didn't realize what was Bianca, because I remember in that period the trend was around pressure. So all in our business we were looking for us and for other competitors, everybody for control the pump or way to control the pressure. We have an idea from the Lorto carburetor to put a needle valve as in the carburetor to control the flow, not the pressure. So we didn't understand if this could be an advantage on the market or not. I was lucky because we were probably at the time we were 20 people, I think, here in the company. And we believe in this solution, and we try to sell it. And fortunately, people understood the difference. And now, probably in this market, everybody knows what's this first product named Bianca.
So what happens, this is another testing area. So each day, the girls here pick up random 2 or 3 machines per line, and they retest them completely, so that to make sure that all the accessories are in, the machines are really functioning, and so forth. That's because now, having an external warehouse, we have to detect any sort of issue because the truck goes away, because otherwise it's a bit of a problem bringing it back and reworking the entire batch. So they do it per batch of production. They pick up 2 models. If the models, the 2 pieces are fine, the whole batch, it's good to go. If one of the 2 has a problem, then they pick up the serial number before and the serial number after, double check it again. If that's fine, so okay, the batch goes. If not, the batch stops and goes back onto the production line to get fixed.
Okay, there you go. How many are in that batch?
It depends, because usually the batch of Bianca, for example, is 594. So obviously before 594 pieces go out, we better make sure that they all are okay to go.
So one of the things that was really surprising to us to learn about the Lelit is the history was actually from steam irons.
Yeah, we actually began with steam ironing equipment, and we are still producing it. We just produced our first coffee machine in 2001.
We are from hot water, as we say. So we are from the beginning, we started with ironing system. My parents started the iron business in the beginning as a seller. So she probably knocked the door to look for someone who can buy their product. And after that, we assemble the product who probably the day after go around to sell it. And we introduced the first patent in the ironing system, the chamber of the plate. Probably he couldn't imagine what we become in the years. Really, it can be grateful.
And it was in 2005 that we began the export of the coffee machines. So our first customer for it was in the US and in Austria and Germany. So 3 customers for the coffee business, and then gradually from there onwards we started improving and enlarging the family of the coffee business because it became to us very, very important and relevant in the revenue of the company. But it was only until 2017 that we made the big jump, and that was thanks to Bianca, that became the game changer in the espresso industry in a sense, because it made the flow profile affordable to a lower price point. So that was when Lelit became a sort of innovative, disruptive company in the espresso industry. The last kids on the block, but with an innovative product.
Yeah, definitely had an impact in the industry for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, all that control in digital and manual profiling was a very good, bold move, but
Yeah.
seems to have paid off.
Yeah, it did, actually did, yes.
Fantastic.
So in ironing we have hot water, stainless steel material, presso start, heating element, and there is a relation between this and the coffee machine. At the beginning, in the first years of the 2000, we assembled machine for us, coffee machine and also ironing system, but also for OEM market. I cannot say the brand for other.
For respect.
For respect, we can say, but we are very glad to this company because thanks to them we learn how to assemble and after some years how to make coffee machine, and thanks to them we start to develop also our own brand or also our own product range, and we are here today, so probably we learn about it.
Where does Lelit sit in terms of price point for steam irons? Is it a premium?
It's a
mid-range,
premium. It's a
product?
definitely premium range because all the components come from the professional world as well as in the coffee machines, and it's all appliance. It's all in stainless steel. So it's even in the shops they are the most expensive ones.
Is this all for what someone would have at home? Or is this commercial?
Now, it depends where you sell it. Like in Italy, you would use it at home because we have a culture of steam ironing. Nobody really buys the small plastic ones. Everybody wants to have a perfect outfit. We are Italians, so it has to be done in the perfect way. But externally, so for the export, some of this equipment is used actually in atelier, in small laundries. People that actually, again, want the perfect result because they have a specific aim for that. They do business with it, so that's it.
Don't judge me on my non-iron shirt.
No issues. I don't like ironing either, but I'm Italian, so I have to. And if you think, irons and coffee machines have a lot in common because they all are with steam. They all work with steam. So we had also a great knowledge of all the steam problems, the line scale problems, because we already knew them from the start, from the ironing business.
Yeah. How many steam irons are produced annually?
I don't know the number, but the ironing business is still 15% of the turnover, which is a good result because we have been investing everything to the coffee business. So the irons sell just on their own without no push.
Oh, great. Fantastic. This is the thread?
That's the thread.
Thread, yeah. Is it two threads? Thread one,
There's thread tempo and thread prima. So one is just on demand and the other one has the possibility of time programming one dose. So this is the entry level of our coffee grinders. This has been with us since the very beginning. It's one of our first coffee grinders. We actually need to have the coffee grinder to be paired with our coffee machines, but we don't have so many models because our core business is actually coffee machines, espresso machines.
is this the grinder that ends up inside the coffee machine as a component?
Exactly. The conical burrs are also built in the Anita's model and also in the Kate. Yes. These are 38 millimeter conical burrs. Yes.
Okay. How big is the grinder business for Lelit?
So the grinder business, as I told you, is something that we need to have to go along with the espresso machines. Like Fred sells pretty well. We do high volumes of the small grinder, also because it's it has a very low price point, but the quality of it is really good.
So quite affordable with this range, and then we've got the William and now the Steve.
Now the Steve is gonna come next year in 2026, and that's again a step forward in the sense that we have improved the way it grinds. It's much more tuned for espresso, so we have improved of about 50% the performance of Steve in comparison to William. And then we also decided to have it in different versions in order to be bundled with the lid machine, so like gold, white, black, polished and brushed.
So the one question I need to have answered is all the machines are women or ladies' names and all the grinders are men's names. Where does that concept come from?
We needed to find a name in order for the people to remember the model, because codes are very difficult to remember. So we thought maybe the women are the creative ones, and the hard work is on the man. So the grinder does the hard work, it has to grind. Okay. The woman has to produce something creative and good and tasty, and so that's how we named it.
Okay, yeah, Luke's a good name for a grinder.
Yeah, let's have a look at our after-sale girls. Just a few of them are here at the PC, and some of them are already around the company.
When a company comes on board, you know, a smaller company becomes acquired by a larger company, then there's a lot of synergies in operations, so you can leverage core functionalities, back office functionalities, logistics, finance, HR, all of those things become, you know, sort of much easier to manage. And then you can lean into the engine of the bigger company, because it's got an infrastructure and a network in a market. So then you're able to get more effective sales and distribution, more effective marketing, better communications with customers and consumers. But I think it's the synergy that was there between those two businesses and Breville at the time, which is great. So Baratza, innovative coffee grinder company. Lelit, another innovative espresso machine company. And I think that's at the core of Breville's DNA is product innovation. And I think both those two brands came from the same place that we were operating from, so there was a lot of synergy right there to start with. So we've been able to bring Baratza on board. We've launched 2 new products successfully since we acquired that brand in late 2020. We've just seen just this week, Lelit is launching Pagaya, which is going to turn home espresso making upside down, which is going to be fantastic. So that's again, it's using that platform. Pagaya is going to be utilising some of Breville's intellectual property to deliver that. So you can see the synergies of those two companies coming together right there. So we've got widened and more successful distribution and marketing and communications, and we've also integrated a really successful rollout of new product as well. So we're getting there. We've got some work to do. We're never done here, but I think at this stage, I think we're really happy with where we're at.
Has the manufacturing always been in this location, or have you moved here recently? Or I know there was an upgrade, but was it always made here?
No, in the very beginning, 1986, the company was a lot smaller. We were in another location. There was actually 5 people, okay. Not many. And then in 1988, the father, who was the founder, bought this place, and we all moved here. And gradually from there onwards, we have been growing. Nowadays, we are 200 people here working in Lelits. And we underwent a renovation in 2017, so the offices didn't look so beautiful at that time. but we felt the need to give a fresh look to the company. So we built the third floor, we renovated the spaces in order to make it look a little bit more fancy and pleasant, also for the workers.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, well, it's looking nice now for sure.
Yeah.
Inviting and homely.
Yes, that's the main purpose behind it.
Great.
This is the technical department, R&D. This is where brain and design come together, with Mauro leading the floor in his corner.
I'm Italian, so also me at home during the weekend. Every weekend I do mocha, and also people say to me, yes, but you have a lot of coffee machine, why you do mocha? Yes, because I'm Italian in this part of the tradition. I know probably the smell or the noise, and I love mocha. In Italy it's very common.
How far away to the next range of products?
So next year it's going to be exciting because we are launching 3 new products. The first one to come out, as you've seen at host, will be Mara X3 with the Pagaia feature. And then there will be more to come towards the end of the year. But that's not the only thing we are working on, because we have many, many ideas, many projects, and Mauro is trying to do them all together to be ready for the year after, so 2027.
Is the time frame between having an idea and something becoming retail ready or ready for sale, is that a 1 year, 2 year sort of process? How long does it take from initial concepts to...
If it was for Mauro, it would take 1 day, because the minute he thinks it, he has already built it. But obviously it has to take a little bit longer, because we need to give the machine a proper dress, because otherwise it's not so nice to sell. But I think that 1 to 2 years, depending on how important the concept or the innovation is, it's a fair time.
Okay. Any direction you might be able to hint on? Are you getting into weight-based? Are you getting into digital connections between two
who
products?
knows? Stay tuned and you will see.
I tried. Oh, well, certainly looking forward to seeing what's coming out.
Yeah, sure. Come through and I'll show you our showroom.
Okay. So you have the whole range here, it looks like it. All of the colours that the Bianca comes in, and the Mara X, Anita, Elizabeth, a few of the grinders, Williams.
Yes, Steve is already there, yes.
Yep.
So this is where we actually show customers the potential, the product range, what we can do.
Yep, a couple of different finishes here that are pretty unique. Some, you know, the red colours.
Yeah, the red colour was an experiment. I don't think it will ever go into production, because it looks a bit bulky to have it in the kitchen.
Sure.
But we always experiment with new colours to see if we like something new.
Is there any incentive from an overall business perspective where people can collaborate or bring their ideas in, or is that still refined to certain people?
No. Actually, we are a company which is always focused on understanding what the end consumer wants, and we gather all the feedback we have. And always in the past, like some of the changes we did on Bianca from version 1 to version 2 or version 3, we did it because we gathered the comments from the end user and the suggestions. So whatever was interesting and made sense was implemented into the machine. So it's not only here, the R&D department, but it's also on the ground, basically. And we pay attention to what people say.
So we saw this Bianca here at the show. It's a limited edition. Can you tell us a bit more about that one?
Yeah, this is actually the Bianca to celebrate 40 years of passion, of commitment, of trying to deliver the best espresso machine possible to our end consumer. And we wanted them to be part of this journey, because actually the success we have been having, it's also thanks to them. So we wanted them to own this piece of history, and we wanted them to own this iconic model, which is Bianca, especially dressed for the occasion. So we had a collaboration with an Italian artist. We had a special drawing on the 2 sides of the machine, underlying and highlighting the craftsmanship and also the steam, the journey that we had through all this year. And this is a limited edition in the sense that we will be producing only 1,986 pieces, because that's the year of birth of Lelit. So the birthday will be next year in 2026. And each owner will know that he will own a piece of history because he will see on the appliance body that it's limiting and which piece it's his. So it will be like 100 of 1,186. It actually...
Number 5.
Yeah, this is host 5, so it's not the true number because it has an H in front of it. So this is, it doesn't count.
Okay, there's a few extras there. Okay, well that's wonderful to be able to have a piece to celebrate the history for sure.
Yes.
Is that going to be available worldwide?
It's going to be available worldwide. We need to decide how many pieces per theater and per voltage. This is something I will work on in the next months because it will launch in May next year. And so we will make sure that every theater has as many as he needs.
Okay, so the collectors who love coffee machines, make sure they don't miss out on getting a piece of history, for sure.
Exactly.
We are in a family business, but we have a completely different rule. So we don't hit each other because we have a completely different job, and some days I don't see my brother, or not for specific topic basically. So it's a challenge, but it's also an advantage in a way, because as Bianca, I believed in that, but I don't think if I had not my brother in a company with more structure, nobody will believe in an idea, because we spent 2 years to make it works. So for 2 years we spend money to change, because now it's an easy solution. When you try, you say, oh yes, but only these 2 components make this huge difference. But in the beginning we spend a lot of time in resources and to do sample, try the flow, and etc. And the trend was different. So it was an advantage, and it is an advantage in a way. So you have to understand the two sides of the pros and the cons.
So this is part of the BRG Group. So as you know, in the BRG Group we have 3 brands: Breville in America and Australia, Sage in Europe, and Baratza and Lelits. So these are the Baratza grinders. Baratza has been in the market with the grinders for a long time, and they are very well known, especially in the US, and they are well known for their after-sale service. So their claim, in fact, is don't dump it, we fix it. Now Baratza has been launching a couple of products recently, the Encore ESP about I think 1 or 2 years ago, and this year the Encore ESP Pro, which is going to be a bestseller for sure because of the qualities and the feature and the price point the grinder has.
Fantastic.
Yeah, this is our heritage, this is our first products, this is where we started and where we still are, in the sense that we still produce this steam ironing machine. As you can see, the look of them is quite professional. That's because we assemble this steam iron machine with professional components, with components that can last for a lifetime really, because sometimes we get machines back that were bought 15, 20 years ago. So it's really a proud to be able to produce such machines that last so long. This is a peculiarity of Lelit. I don't know if this one is opened. Anyway, no, it doesn't. But one of the peculiarity of the steam irons is that we produce dry steam, which is essential when you dry, because it helps you ironing a lot faster. So one way you go there, and that's it. You don't need to go back and forth to have the perfect result. And this is due to the fact that inside this plate, we have 32 chambers. So by the time the water gets in and gets out, it's totally dry, because it has to go through a path where actually it dries out, and the output is totally dry steam. And this was our patent, I don't remember back when, but long time ago.
Okay.
It was an investment we did to change the quality of the steam the machines were producing.
Concerning me is we have to change. Basically, we have I look history, basically. I look all the cars, all the motorbike. I love this heritage, as you can see, the right name in English, I think. Yes. I look heritage, but for me, we have to look heritage, and we have to understand what's next. Because if we look only the heritage, probably we will not have success in the next 10 years. So we have to know about the past, but we have to look for the future. The new regulation about energy consumption, material, homologation in all the world oblige us or motivate us to think in a different way, because people are becoming older, so we know about the past, new generation probably less. So we have to innovate, we have to learn from young, and provide them the right tools to play with.
Buongiorno. So we're at the 3PL, which is the third-party logistics for Lelits. So this is where they were talking about the big trucks coming and going from each day in the morning and the afternoons. So the parts are coming from here in the morning, and then in the afternoon the completed machines are coming back here. It's about 20 minutes drive from the factory, but it allows them to have other people work on their business without them having to manage it themselves. So they're considered to be a larger customer for this site, which obviously allows a great partnership for the dispatch. So all the machines that are completed will leave from here and head off to the different parts around the world for the end distributors to get them in the home.
Well, I think what's concerning me is probably just coffee prices. I think that's a big concern, and I don't think that's going to resolve itself overnight. I think we've just got the classic supply and demand. It's coffee has been, I think, expanding in terms of the specialty coffee, certainly in terms of global consumption, and the supply of global coffee is not increasing for various reasons. And I think that supply constraint is not going to resolve quickly. I think it's here for a while. So coffee prices in general is a bit of a concern, because when you look at the value chain at the last step with cafes trying to stay viable, it's like, how much can they charge? Can they charge a reasonable amount to stay viable and have the consumer accept that? Because we're seeing prices $7, $8, $9, $10 for a cup of coffee, and going back to, you go back just only 5 years, it was people were paying less than $5 in Australia, for argument's sake. Whereas now that's 50% more at least. So you've got to have this disconnect between, the cost of staying viable and what customers are prepared to pay for coffee. So for me, that's a big challenge. What excites me about the future, I think, is elevated at-home experiences. I think not just Lelit and Baratza are pushing the envelope in terms of providing equipment that makes it easier, simpler, more accessible for people to make quality coffee at home. And I think that is just going to keep going, that trend, because as you've got that pricing problem that's existing in the out-of-home experience, I think that more and more consumers will be leaning into in-home experiences. And as equipment manufacturers are understanding what consumers actually want, then I think that's going to really widen that market and the opportunities for everyone.
Okay.
La logistica fa parte di ingresso merce.
Okay. Okay. So basically, here is where we can find all our finished goods, and so we control it like from the very first component directly to our CRM from Lelit headquarters. Okay. We only accept like the components here. When like the parts come here, there's a quality control.
E praticamente attraverso il nostro sistema qualità riusciamo a validare la merce per il controllo che dobbiamo fare.
Okay, and there's kind of validation so that we can start actually going on with the quality checks. Okay, and then components are like put in our area here in the warehouse.
Okay. How big is this whole facility?
Quanto è grande tutto il magazzino?
1000 square meters.
Okay. And how much is the capacity for Lelit?
I think more or less 10,000 pallets. 10,000?
10,000 pallets.
10,000 pallets.
Yeah.
That's a lot of stock to keep organised. So yeah, to have that, controlled in the other factory would take up a lot of space.
So when we need the components to produce the machines in Lelit headquarters, like we can communicate through our software systems with Festa Logistics, and we put an order so that they can transport all the pieces to Lelit headquarters.
Okay, are they picking by pallet or by box or?
Yeah.
Ci sono sia
Both.
sia
Yeah, okay,
pallet
depends.
as
Smaller components by
small
box.
component or big component.
Okay,
Okay.
There's a lot of flexibility, so it's not
Yeah.
just pallet to pallet, you can go and pick one box of solenoids or 5 pallets of
Yeah.
stock.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic.
Assembliamo, montiamo le macchine del caffè, poi ritornano qui quando sono assemblate e là ci
Yeah.
sono i prodotti finiti
Okay,
che abbiamo
then-
mandato giù.
Then we get the components, we assemble the coffee machines or grinders or whatever, and then we communicate again with the logistics to say, hey, we are ready, and then we send the finished good here.
Yes, okay.
Poi da qua spediamo o all'altra business unit o ai clienti finali.
And then as the finished good is here, whenever we receive the order, we send them to the final customer. So to other business units, for example, to Australia or to USA, whatever.
Okay, and you'll either make a full pallet of stock or a mixed buy or whatever back as a container. So you're loading containers from here to ship.
Spediamo sia container che a pallet.
Both containers or pallets.
Okay, cool. Is there a way to see how big it is down an aisle? Yeah. And that'll just give a bit of scope. Yeah, all right.
Praticamente l'ingresso di component.
Okay, these are components coming inside.
Okay. From the hardware, like the chassis?
Le scocche o anche la parte...
Qualsiasi componente.
Yeah,
Qualsiasi
A
componente.
component
both,
only.
yeah.
Okay, so pumps or...
Tipo questo qua è un manico di un portafiltro.
For example, this a part of the portafilter,
Yeah, cool.
the handle.
Yep.
Praticamente tutti i componenti. Arrivano anche le scocche.
Also
tutte le
the
scocche che
chassis
produciamo.
come here.
Okay, yeah.
Produciamo a Vicenza.
And we produce them.
Yes, from the other factory.
Yeah, Seri Veneta.
Seri Veneta, yeah, okay, cool. So this is the finished products over here. Yep,
Yes,
okay.
arrived from Lelit.
Yesterday.
Quando
Ok.
sono arrivata ieri.
Yep.
You have the
Date, 15th and
Yeah.
9th. Yeah, what's that? I haven't got my glasses. What is that? That's Lelit Bianca,
this is
dual boiler.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bianca. Okay, cool. And the most popular is the Bianca.
Yes.
Se la Bianca è la macchina più...
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Very,
yeah, great.
Very popular.
Yeah,
Yeah, together with Mara eggs.
okay.
Okay, and there's the stock.
So the whole rack here is dedicated to
Lelit.
Lelit. Okay,
Wow.
that's a lot of stock. My warehouse ends 6 deep. Our warehouse is
Ah.
only about 6 bays. Double.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe nine or 12 all in total of our whole
Okay.
business, and only 3 high.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Naturalmente su tante scatole vede le nostre etichette perché molti fornitori per poter consegnare devono etichettare attraverso il nostro MES che è sempre lì.
Quindi scatole diverse di altri.
Scatole con tipo questi codici qua,
Ok.
che praticamente
Maybe these are other like
I nostri
dealers,
fornitori
yeah,
devono-
of components, but
Okay.
they have to put like our name on them.
devono etichettare col nostro sistema.
Yeah, and also with our system, so they have to communicate with
The
our
Q- yeah,
software.
QR
So
codes
yeah,
and-
that's why.
Process.
Yeah. Okay.
Che dopo è interconnesso con loro, è interconnesso con quello di Festa per poter gestire la
And it
tracciabilità.
is also connected with their systems to like trackability
Okay.
goals.
So what's coming in the timber pallets that are fully framed? What's in those?
No, questi no,
Cosa
no.
c'è dentro
Not
questi
their product.
pallet?
Not Lelit.
No,
okay,
Lelit.
so-
But there is
Okay.
yeah, I can see Lelit up the top. So.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
from the third floor.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh well, there is a lot of Lelit boxes up
There are
top.
some pallets of Serie Veneta.
Oh, okay.
Talking about the third part.
Oh, all the yeah.
Yeah,
S.
yeah, S.
Okay, all the
Sì, essendo tracciato tutto, loro mettono nello spazio libero.
Everything's tracked, so they put like boxes where they can find a
Yeah.
place.
Posizione, un'etichetta tracciata,
Ok.
un piano e ogni posizione ha una determinata cella.
In like the structure is divided into cells, and each one has their own like QR code, barcode. So everything is perfectly tracked, and it's easy to find
yeah.
things.
So not necessarily this row and that row. It's
Yeah.
just more efficiencies. If someone's got something
yeah.
coming in,
You search for like that component, and you know the exact position of that.
yeah. It's a long way down there. That's lots of aisles.
Yes.
Yeah.
We go
wow,
this
very
way?
impressive. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty big.
And how long have you been using this service?
È 10 anni, no? Che siamo qua.
Sì, massimo d'anni.
10 years, more or less.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Qua ci sono tutti.
Here there are the spare parts,
E il controllo qualità, vediamo il
and
controllo qualità.
now we see quality control.
E dove facciamo la preparazione dei ricambi.
Okay. And also where we prepare i ricambi, scusa, in che senso?
parts.
Ah, le spare parts.
parts,
In
ok.
questo senso ricambio, ok, pensavo ricambio di merce.
Oh yeah. Cabling. Okay. Yeah, beautiful. Organised and
Yes.
clean.
Allora?
Questo è il nostro controllo qualità della merce in accettazione, che quando entra la merce.
Okay, so
appunto,
this is like the
controlliamo.
quality control when components arrive here.
Questo questo è di Lelit.
È di Lelit.
Sì,
This is Lelit only? Solo
Oh,
Lelit?
okay. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, valves. Okay.
Yeah.
So literally rebagging
Yeah.
and putting everything in. Okay, so
We
it's
can
really
look.
a good extension of your business. It's actually
Yes, of
what's
course.
happening. It's not just storage. It's okay, bagging everything up and
Vabbè, facciamo
Labeling
controlli
and-
con strumenti.
With particular instruments.
È sempre collegato al nostro discorso del MES,
yeah.
l'IA.
And we even here work like with our softwares.
okay, yeah. There you go. How many machines in total per year do you produce?
Quante macchine
100,000?
all'anno più o meno produciamo?
Siamo arrivati sui 3 macchine, tutto all sui 65.000.
65,000.
65,000. Okay, all up,
All machines.
all machines, everything. Okay. Cool.
spare for shipping and the
Spare parts?
Yep. Oh, they're from the steamers. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So 65,000 coffee machines, or all units
Also
across?
grinders.
Oh,
and
Anche
plus
ironing.
grinders, plus steamers.
Anche ironing, anche liner.
See,
Yes.
ironing is small.
Yeah. It's a small part.
Small part now. Okay. But still, it's there.
It counts.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, great. Okay.
Puntiamo gli 80.000.
Yeah, we aim for 80,000.
80,000 machines.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think so. I think the facility you have for 65,000 is, we've done a lot of factory tours, and other facilities look far smaller and less organised, and they might do 40 to 50,000.
Ok.
So your facility looks like it could have more capacity.
Sì, che abbiamo più... Cioè siamo molto organizzati comunque. Ok.
Tutte le linee di produzione che abbiamo costruito in fabbrica sono autogestite e costruite da noi.
Giorgio has designed our assembly lines and they are optimized.
Yep.
E quindi sono replicabili.
Yeah, it's easy to replicate them.
Okay.
If we should have an increase in production, we are able to respond to that increase because we are well organized in the assembly line.
Because assembly line, the space is no problem.
Yeah. Okay. It's plenty of space. Yeah, great.
We can add like lines eventually.
Perché anche le tavole rotanti di legno dove assembliamo le macchine, tutte quelle cose lì sono state progettate internamente.
Also like the rotating tables you have seen today to work
on
with
a machine and spin.
Yeah, have been designed internally, so we can really create everything we need to create a machine, and it's easy to replicate the process.
Yeah, in other spaces.
Yes, if we
need.
Yeah,
Brilliant. Yeah, fantastic.
to reach the goal.
2-3 months.
Yeah.
Replicate.
Okay.
And
Perfecto.
Perfetto.
Okay, brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I don't know if you can, I can answer in the camera, but sure. The only advice I have for me, young people or my son is study, because in this era you have to study, not too much, but what's necessary. So I had to study to improve myself, but during my career. Probably is the only part I have to change from my school to my business.
I remember when I first met Matt Perger, must have been, maybe it was 2008 or 2009, and he'd just won the New South Wales State Barista Champion, and I was a judge in that competition, and I knew him because he was a barista in the same suburb where I had my cafe in Mossman in Sydney. And I said to him, so when are you going back to school? Like, when are you just done with this side thing? And he was like, no, this is it. I said, really? Because he's he's an intelligent and articulate person. I said to him, really? Okay, so this is it, coffee? You want to make a career of this? He said, yeah, I'm going to make a career of this. So you've got Matt Perger can show you the journey from just being a barista, going through being a competitive barista, second in the World Barista Championship in 2013 in Melbourne, and has been one of the leading voices in specialty coffee. So I think you need to keep your ears open. Don't think you know everything. You're always continually learning. Different techniques. You never think you know everything. Always be a sponge for knowledge.
Fantastic. Oh, thank you very much, Phil. Really
Cool.
appreciate your time.
Awesome. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks, Luke.
Thank you so much. Ciao.
Well, thank you so much, Christina, for the tour of the Lelit factory. It's been wonderful to understand the heritage from ironing all the way through to coffee machines and grinders. And it sounds like the future is very bright for the business. So
yeah, thank you for coming and taking the time to visit us and understanding who we are and where we come from. It's a pleasure, and you'll be always welcome at the Lelit headquarters.
Well, thank you so much. It's certainly been great for me to touch the equipment and learn more. For me, it's a newer brand in what we deal with. we're certainly excited about what's to come because we can't talk about it right now. There's certainly some products we've seen today that will be coming out at some stage, and I think they're going to just add a next level of home user experience. So congratulations on the new products coming, congratulations on the past, and well done to the whole Lelit team.
Thank you so much and hope to see you soon.
Cool. And if you haven't yet, please do like and subscribe. We appreciate your support so we can create this kind of content, show behind the scenes, show you where the brands come, the culture and the passion that makes great coffee machines and equipment. So please, if you've got any questions, pop the comments down below. We look forward to answering those. If I can't answer them, we're connected. We can find out all the answers for you. So thanks very much for watching. We'll catch you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Ciao.
Ciao.